one of the most powerful motivational stories to inspire anyone chasing a dream. There's hardly a soul in the modern world who hasn't heard of Starbucks, the global coffee empire that turned sipping lattes into a lifestyle. But behind the iconic green siren logo is a man who defied the odds, Howard Schultz. His journey from the harsh streets of Brooklyn to becoming the CEO of a $100 billion brand is nothing short of incredible. This is not just the story of a man, but the story of relentless grit, belief, and the unshakable power of dreams. Howard Schultz was born in 1953 in the projects of Brooklyn, New York. His father was a truck driver who never made more than $20,000 a year and struggled to hold a steady job. There were times when the family couldn't afford basic necessities, and Howard saw firsthand the weight of financial stress, especially when his father was injured on the job and had no health insurance, leaving the family in a deep crisis. The young Howard felt the shame of poverty deeply. He was determined not to live that way forever. Sports became his initial escape. Schultz earned a football scholarship to Northern Michigan University, the first in his family to attend college. But even then, it wasn't easy. He had to take out loans, work part-time jobs, and even sell his blood to buy food. There were moments of deep doubt, nights where he didn't know if he could keep going. But the spark in him never died, the belief that he was meant for more and that the cycle of poverty could end with him. After graduating, Howard started working in sales, eventually landing a job at a small coffee company called Starbucks in 1982. At that time, Starbucks was just a local business in Seattle that sold whole coffee beans, no cappuccinos, no baristas, no cozy coffee shop experience. But Schultz had a vision. A trip to Milan, Italy, changed everything. He saw coffee shops not just as places to get coffee, but as social hubs, community spaces where people could connect. He believed that Starbucks could become that kind of experience in America.
However, when he pitched the idea, the Starbucks founders weren't convinced. Undeterred, Howard took the biggest risk of his life. He left Starbucks and opened his own coffee shop, Il Giornale, based on his vision. It was a gamble. He had no wealthy backers. To raise money, he knocked on hundreds of doors and was turned down over 200 times. But eventually, he raised enough capital, and Il Giornale became a hit. In 1987, he returned to Starbucks not as an employee, but as the man who bought the company. Under his leadership, Starbucks transformed from a 6-store regional chain into a global phenomenon. Schultz brought not only innovation, but a new corporate philosophy. He insisted on providing health insurance even to part-time employees, a direct response to the struggles he had seen in his own family. He created a culture where workers felt valued, and where every cup of coffee carried a story. By the time he stepped down as CEO, Starbucks had grown into a global empire with over 30,000 stores in more than 80 countries, and a market value exceeding $100 billion. But more than the numbers, what Schultz built was a legacy, a company rooted in values, vision, and the belief that no dream is too big. Howard Schultz's story is a shining reminder that where you start in life does not determine where you'll finish. From selling his blood to buy food to serving coffee in boardrooms around the world, his journey is living proof that success is never given. It's earned through resilience, vision, and unwavering belief. So if you're struggling today, if your dreams feel far away, remember this. The man behind one of the biggest brands on the planet once stood exactly where you are, broke, uncertain, and full of hope. All it takes is one spark to light the fire. Keep going.